today we are talking about how to build and grow a successful online business. So before, maybe we relied on in-person communications, or maybe not. And then during COVID, this is very relevant because any and most all in-person interactions had to go away for a bit. And hopefully we'll come back soon. And so now is really the time. Maybe some things you had on your to-do list for, at some point, or maybe you felt a little bit overwhelmed with social media. What should my online presence look like? And a lot of that was probably fast forwarded and or accelerated. And you had to pivot to figure out how do we navigate this new world? And each week, even tone kind of seemed to be a bit different worldwide. So we had to tap into that. So this is a little woo-woo, whatever, but you can either be an entrepreneur or you can be an entrepreneur. So you can be an entrepreneur in the sense that you're just creating a company because that's been your dream your whole life, or you just came up with it, you wanted to start a company, so you're going to do that. Or you can create something that did not exist before, and in some way you are impacting and shaping the world and making a world that you want to live in through your company. So having a mission statement is a way, instead of just being an entrepreneur and owning a business, to actually understand. It just helps everyone get in that frame of mind and start drinking the Kool-Aid. Like, everyone should know the mission statement. You should post it on all your social media platforms. You can post it on your website. So it's something that you're living and breathing, and making sure that everyone is on the same page. Brand world. So this is brand with a capital B. So have you created a brand, a cohesive brand world that your customer can easily and instantly recognize? So as a business owner, so maybe this applies to your social media, this applies to you online. You are basically creating a world that your customer enters whenever they visit your website, go to your store, all of that. So the brands that do this and focus on this are going to do much better and be more successful than maybe other brands. So thinking of brand equity. So what does brand with a capital B mean? So for example, if someone's walking down the street, is one of them's wearing an Hermes handbag and the other one's wearing Chanel. Or if somebody's wearing a Nike sneaker or Nike legging versus Lululemon. These people are so laser focused on brand that you are going to assign characteristics to that person, not even necessarily consciously, but that's what the brand means. So now you're going to think, okay, this person is XXXX because they bought this brand versus this brand. So if we focus on building that brand, then that is going to happen for you as well. It takes time. And then, so do you have a brand Bible? So this goes back to the cohesive brand world, and y'all probably don't know, maybe you may or may not know what this is, but brand Bible is having your font, having your colors. So you use that across all platforms. So instead of just using random fonts or whatever, once you, like, for example, when we started The Style That Binds Us, we worked with a graphic designer and we received our brand Bible. So we got a style guide, and we created a mood board for The Style That Binds Us. And so it has like all of these images that convey what The Style That Binds Us is about. And then we also got the guide. So these are the fonts to use. These are the colors to use. And we cannot get lazy. We have a podcast episode coming out next week with a striped brand, they do have men's too, brand called Kuhle, K-U-L-E. And the CEO was saying, don't let a board marketing message ruin your brand. So as a business owner, we have to say the same thing all day, every day, and until you're blue in the face, because let's remember that so much information is coming at everyone. it's hard to get anyone's attention. They may or may not be completely focused when they're looking through Instagram or whatever. So we have to keep saying the same thing in different ways. So that is very important. An example of that is the Style That Binds Us is a mother-daughter business. And I was not screaming from the rooftops at the beginning about that. But that was, this is my fault, but that was like, of course, such a huge part of the brand. And so still to this day, when I go out and about and I tell people, oh, that's my mom. And they're like, I thought that was your stylish older friend. What? That's your mother? And I'm like, how did you miss that? So that is just to say that it is extremely important that you say it one way, then you say it here. You can have a recurring calendar invite, like every 3 months or something. I'm going to talk about that one thing about the business that's very core to me again. So Brand World, we created a playlist on Spotify. I mean, you can go as deep as you want and you live and breathe. I'm wearing orange today because the Style That Binds Us is yellow, blue, and orange are colors. So then this summer, Mom and I laid out all of the pieces that we have and accessories and dresses, whatever, in those colors. And we're like, we need to live and breathe our brand. So that is an example of how you can do that. So that is Brand World. So tell me, how are we feeling?
I have a question. How do you so you went to graphic designer to figure out how to get your brand Bible started. If let's say you don't have access or capital for it, how would you recommend someone going about starting their brand Bible?
So definitely create a mood board, and I can send materials on that. Mom, the stylist part of the business, has a whole how-to of how to do that. But basically you just go through Pinterest and you can put together photos of different fonts, different quotes that speak to you, different for Dana, all the different furniture or fabrics that speak to you. You're kind of really creating your world. So it can be random. Like, what art do you like? What interiors speak to you? And so hopefully once you've spent time compiling all of these images, when you go through, you're going to see some themes. Or if you don't want to do Pinterest, you can cut things out of magazines and put them on a board. So that's one way. Canva is, everyone is now a graphic designer because of Canva. So you can you could, go through Canva and pick your font. Then you can pick your colors on Canva and design your logo. So you can do it yourself. As an entrepreneur, we have to decide time versus money and skills. So, okay, am I going to invest in myself and learn the skills myself so I can do it? Am I going to try and do it myself? And even if it's halfway okay, but then maybe you're not setting yourself up for success and you're not going to start off in the right way. So maybe it is worth hiring an expert to help with all of that. Case study, I recently started working for a construction company, and I did a whole, I guess, rebrand, really, because in the past it was a relationships built business, and a lot of it happened in person. It's kind of like the boys club, and so they never really had to do marketing. So they've hardly paid attention to their website, their social media, all of these things. And so it is interesting how all of this applies to any business, as this example tells. So when I came in, they thought we were going to have a social media meeting, and I'm going to present to them, okay, these are ideas that I think I'll post on your Instagram. And I made them go through, and I had all these questions about your business and what are your goals and what is your mission statement, what's your tagline, what's your vision statement, what's going to be your brand voice, how do you want to be seen as, do you want to be seen as a leader in the community, philanthropic, are you involved in the community? What is your company culture? All of these things. And so I made them create all of that. And then I said, okay, these are your colors because your logo, they're these colors. And this is your new font. And so I sent an email to everyone, and I made them put their tagline in the signature. And I said, whenever you send an email, it needs to be in this font, in this color. So it does apply to every brand. So remember again how I was saying that so much information is coming at everyone, and repetition is key. So we need to be a recurring theme, and everywhere someone sees us, it needs to be the same, whether it's in person or online. So one of the biggest compliments that I receive is when people meet me, they say, "You're the same online as you are in person." I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense to me to be otherwise, but people create these online personalities. And so that it has to be this consistent theme. I mean, can you imagine Nike or, just any construction company? You have to have the same consistent message, no matter the platform and no matter if it's in person or online. And I mean, their stuff is skyrocketing. We had a meeting today. I mean, they've done nothing hardly, at all. So it's very easy, I guess, to like have this sharp, steep curve. But still, I mean, one of my goals is to grow the social media, and then also to keep them top of mind for architects, owners, anybody who's going to build a business. They need to think of this company. So I need to kind of be this recurring thing. As the style that binds us, I try to get in there. So I'm getting in your brain, first in the subconscious and then the conscious of all of our customers. So that can apply to any business. So that is the brand world. To immediately understand what you are all about and who are you speaking to. So everything that you do, you have to know your clients so well. This goes back to creating this brand world for this person. So you can create an avatar, and you have this person in mind that you are writing to whenever you're doing anything. So we need to understand their lifestyle. Where do they go? Where do they work out? What do they like to eat? Where do they travel? What is their age? Do they have a family? Are they married or are they single? All of these, do they drink alcohol? Do they not? Are they tea or coffee? You can really get specific here. So this helps you to understand what your brand voice should be, because if you know your target client so well, then you're going to know how they want to be spoken to, how often they want to be spoken to, and all of that. So where do they hang out in person and online? This is huge. How can you get in front of your target client? That is my number one goal with the Style That Binds Us. Is I want people to be, at first, they're kind of, the subconscious is, when I meet them, they're like, oh, I think I've heard of that. And I'm like, of course you have, because I've been working really hard on that. Or then the conscious is like, they're thinking of you, and they're actively visiting your website as a go-to resource for blank, or they're actively going, oh, I want to watch this person's story. I want to go see what's on their blog. Those are types of things. I want to open every email that they send me because they know me so well, they get me. So, for example, when Reese Witherspoon comes out with a movie, she's going to be interviewed on the Today Show. Her house is going to be an architectural digest. She is going to plant herself in all the places where the people that she wants to watch the movie to be, so that she becomes this recurring theme, and people are like, oh, I'm seeing your name everywhere. Okay, well, that's not a mistake. That you can just be like, oh, great. I had no idea. But really, if you're a magical marketer, then you're doing your job. So we need to figure out where they hang out in person and online, and knowing what magazines do they read, what social media handles are they on, what is their favorite coffee or tea. Can you be involved in some way at their yoga studio or whatever? When I was getting into fashion, coming from William & Mary, there is no fashion hardly at all. So especially when I was there. So how am I going to get in the fashion industry? I don't know anyone. So I'm like, okay, the Dior girl from HR is not responding to me. How can I get in her yoga class and be like, hey, I'm Delia and you're not responding to me? So we need to figure out where these people are so we can get in front of them. So to make sure that we're always top of mind to that target client.